So I'm Anna Reisdorf. I've been a registered dietitian for almost 20 years. And I am both, for many years, I did writing, content marketing through the RWS content and strategy agency that I ran. And then over the last year, I started a new platform, which you mentioned, called the GLP-1 Hub. And that's a podcast and a YouTube channel to help people navigate weight loss medications because they need a lot of help.
Oh, thank you very much for running that through. So my first question goes thus. So when you realized that you were not losing weight, what pushed you to actually put that out online? Because a lot of coaches would not actually do that. But you went ahead to tell us that as a coach who has also helped millions of persons to lose weight and you couldn't. What was the push exactly?
Has been open about my weight, and I think that people relate to you more when you're a real person. If a person is a dietitian or a trainer or something like that and has never struggled with their weight, like for some people that feels like they don't really truly understand, right? So yes, some people criticize me for that and say, oh, well, you should have known better. I wouldn't take advice from somebody like you. But then I find that a lot more people are able to relate to me better and know that I understand what they're going through more. So it really just depends on the individual, but I like to focus on the ones that are more positive. And I think that if you have somebody who has been through the same journey as you, that feels much more personal, like they really, really understand. Because, we all know that person who has been physically active their whole life, maybe their genetics make it so they just really don't gain weight, or they just love eating healthy and it's just like that's who they are. And I don't personally think that person really understands the struggle at all. So that's just how I approach it.
Well, that's interesting. Just a few persons are willing to talk about their real life online. But most times what we see online is just what they choose to put out there. But we are willing to put out your real life, and that's really nice. So I have another question for you. So you said you started your career in bariatrics, prepping people for surgery, watching huge transformations. What did those patients teach you that the textbooks couldn't or didn't?
What I started to realize when I worked in bariatrics was, first of all, how much it's so much more than diet. Like, I thought that people would come and I would make a little plan for them and then they would follow it perfectly and they would lose weight and it would be all wonderful and great. And that was not the truth at all. There were so many layers to their lives and to why they were overweight and why they couldn't stick with whatever plan it was, and like family issues and mental health problems. Like, it was so much deeper than I was prepared for. And I didn't get training to deal with all of that as a dietitian. Like, I learned, okay, eat protein, count your calories, like that sort of thing. But they needed really much deeper help. And so that was what surprised me the most. And I honestly felt really helpless with like how I could help them because I wanted to, but there was just so much more that I really didn't have training to deal with or to address. So I actually ended up leaving that job because I felt like it wasn't very effective because I really wanted to help the patients and they needed way more than I could give. So then I went to the hospital job instead, which is like a little bit less emotionally draining. Because the patients are in and out into the hospital, right? So that was the one thing. And then the other thing is that there was a lot of people, and now I'm understanding it more, that just couldn't lose weight. Like, they would turn in a perfect meal plan. They were doing their exercise. They were doing all the things that I was telling them, and they were maybe sometimes gaining. And I couldn't figure out why. I thought, okay, well, maybe they're lying about what they're really doing, or maybe they don't really understand what I'm saying. But it was just, there was, like I said, it goes back to all of those different things that play a role in what somebody weighs that they were fighting against. And me giving them the perfect diet wasn't enough to help them get to their goal. Meanwhile, there was some that would stop drinking, one soda per day and they'd lose 20 pounds. They would make small changes and there would be big results. So the complexity was what I just wasn't prepared for as a new dietitian. Not at all.
Okay, thank you very much for that. So you said that you had a number of patients. Did it affect you from getting more patients? Thinking that the fact that you were not losing weight and you were helping other persons lose weight. Was it a struggle for you to get more persons as more patients because you could see that apparently the person helping them was not losing weight, and how can you give me what I cannot see in you? Did you have any problem at all regarding that particular thing?
You cut out on the last part of that question. Can you repeat it?
So yes, I asked that. You said you were not losing weight. However, you were helping thousands of patients lose weight. Was it a time it affected you from getting more patients? Looking at the fact that who they want to work with is apparently not losing weight and they want to help me. Did it affect you getting more patients to work with?
That if the patients weren't losing weight, did it impact me getting more patients?
Yes. When you were losing weight, were you able to get more clients or more patients to work with?
I was working within a health system, so they brought me the patients. Like I wasn't getting patients for myself. Like they were with like the health system, and they would this was a program that I worked within. So it wasn't my job to try to get patients. They would just come to the program.
Okay, thank you. At some point, you made a pivot from direct patient career into content marketing. You built an entire agency of dietitians writing for health brands. How did a clinician end up in marketing? How did you move from being a dietitian into marketing? Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So I did a lot of different jobs as a dietitian, and I just didn't really enjoy sort of direct patient care. I was always wanting to be a writer. I thought that, I want to be a writer, but I didn't really know. I thought maybe you had to write a novel or write a book. And that seemed really just not possible. That was never gonna happen for me. Even though I've written 3 books since then. At the beginning, it seemed a little overwhelming, but I just started I found this other dietitian who was traveling the world writing, supporting herself with writing. And I had met her online just randomly, and she gave me the information for this company, this website she was writing for. And I applied, and I was accepted to be a writer for this website. And it was all these articles that were short articles for websites like Livestrong and The Nest and things like that. And at the time, they were paying $25 per article, which was pennies for the amount of work that I was doing. But I got accepted, and I started writing, 10, 15 articles a day for this website. And then I turned all of those articles into new clients. And so I went on what is now Upwork and found more clients by using those articles. And then it just slowly built over time. And the demand for this type of work became so big that I had to start bringing on more writers to help me, because there was just so many clients, and I'm only one person. I could only do so much. So it just sort of built over time, and I just turned one article into 2, into 20, into thousands.
That's a lot. So please, can you walk me through how you actually got your first GLP-1 prescription? Because the way you have described it, a telehealth app, no doctor conversation, a prescription, and a coupon, that sounds like the exact system you now warn people against. So can you walk us through how you got your first GLP-1 prescription? So
I've always been an early adopter of things. I was comfortable with weight loss medication already, just because when I worked in bariatrics, these weight loss there was other weight loss medications that were used with that group. And so I felt comfortable about just medications for weight loss in general. And then I went to a telehealth platform that is actually the one that was eventually purchased by Weight Watchers. And I got a prescription through that. And the only thing that was kind of weird about it was that I didn't ever speak to the provider. I thought we would have some type of consultation or a conversation or something, but they just gave me the prescription and sent me on my way. And so that was not a great experience, but this was before it was approved for weight loss. So it was about 3 months before it was officially approved for weight loss. So people were kind of using it off label or whatever for weight loss. So there wasn't as much information. I didn't really understand the medication because I thought it was going to be like other ones where you kind of go on, you lose the weight, and then you go off. It wasn't like that. It's not like that. So it was just, I just really could have used more support. But I think that because it was so new at that time for weight loss, that even the provider didn't really know how to properly prescribe it and that kind of stuff. So I learned, and that's what I'm trying to teach everybody, is how to use it in a way that makes, that's more effective, helps you keep the weight off, and makes it so you're not sick all the time too.
Okay. Interesting to know that. So you eventually made a decision that you tried losing weight, you lost weight, you gained it, you lost it again, over and over again. So you eventually accepted that you have to live with medication. A lot of persons, a lot of wellness coaches would resist that. Rather, they want to fight against it. Like, why would I want to be on medication for the rest of my life? So what made you accept it instead of fighting it? What made you accept being on medication instead of fighting against it?
I spent my whole life dealing with this weight thing. Like, my career is about weight. Like, everything is about food and eating and tracking and doing and exercise and this. And it's so exhausting doing that all the time and never being able to like let your foot off the pedal. And if you do, then you put all this weight back on. And then I talked to a colleague of mine who does weight management too. And we kind of talked through it, and she's like, you're going to menopause. It's not going to get easier. It's only going to get harder. So like, this medication works. Why would you bring all of that stress back to your life if you have something that works? You can eat a healthy diet. You can do your exercise that you like doing, but you don't have to constantly be worrying about your weight. And like, that just made sense to me. And, it feels very freeing to be able to not really be super worried about that. So it allows you to just eat the right things, do the right lifestyle pieces, but like not just have to constantly be like, oh my God, I can't eat that. I can't eat that. I can't do this. I got to do this, just remove some of the pressure. So I wish that there was a way, a protocol or something to help people sort of get off or figure out how to reduce the amount of medication, but the research hasn't really caught up with that just yet. So hopefully in the future, we'll have a way or some other option for people, because I understand it's expensive to commit to it for life. It's a lot.
Yeah, hopefully, I hope there's something that comes up in the future. So I want to be very honest about something. I hear food noise, that constant mental chatter about what are you eating, what have you eaten, what you should not eat. And I recognize that. Not with food specifically, but the kind of background mental load that never really switches off. What am I going to eat? What am I going to eat tomorrow? What should I not eat? Should I avoid this, avoid that? The one where you never quit, you're never quite comfortable with your own body, right? A lot of wellness coaches would not exactly accept that, right? What happens when eventually all of those things go quiet? What do one do?
Well, it just feels like a stress is lifted, like you have space to think about other things, or you aren't just constantly like every single second of the day thinking, okay, what is the next thing that I eat? Should I eat that? Should I not? What is, and to some extent, like humans want food, right? Like that's a primal drive that we all have. So to some extent, everybody, I think, feels thoughts about food. Like everybody feels hungry, no matter what your weight is, but you can it just allows you just a little bit of mental space, I think. And like now that it hasn't gone away completely, like I like to eat food. I am a food person. I like to learn about food. I like to talk about food. I like to try new restaurants. I like to do all that stuff. And that hasn't gone away, but at least I can control it. So I can choose when I'm going to do that, and it's not controlling me. Does that make sense? So I can make a choice. Okay, I want to try this new restaurant, or I want to eat this thing, or I'm just more in control of it. And then I just have time, not sitting around tracking calories all the time, or, making plans or doing this, that's just all gone. So now I just make a plan on a Sunday for what my family is going to eat and what we're going to do together, and then let it go. That's it. And then just make the food that we have to eat. So it's just a lot, just a big load off my plate.
Yeah, I think I learned something. Instead of overthinking what to eat, just pick the right food and just let the rest to go. So thank you very much for that. So GNLP One Up has a blog, has a podcast. I think about 76 episodes, a store, a membership, bro, and a medical a reviewer from Yale. Like you built that in 1 or 2 years. Like what part did you not expect to be as hard as it is in your building phase?
It really hasn't. It's just more the keeping up with the amount of content, because now I'm on a schedule where I have to do 2 podcast episodes plus 2 YouTube videos every week. And so that's a lot. And I still actually have writing clients. So I still have some old writing clients that are still there from my writing business. So I'm not going to get rid of those because they've been good clients with me for a long time. The other thing is the criticism from the internet, especially on YouTube. People are very mean. And it's hard when it's your face and your story and who you are, and you're putting yourself out there with the intention to help people, but people criticize you and say, like I said at the beginning, oh, you're a dietitian, you should have known better. I can't believe you would do something like this, or a lot of people have very passionate opinions about nutrition. And they attack me if my opinion or my, perspective is different from theirs. Yeah. So that's hard. I would love to get to a point where I don't have to read any comments anymore.
What's the most overwhelming claim in GLP-1 space right now? Like, what's the most overhyped claim in the GLP-1 space right now?
Right. I think that a lot of people believe that the GLP-1 will get you to whatever weight you desire.
Okay.
So if you decide, I want to weigh 110 pounds, it will help you get there. Even if you shouldn't weigh that much, because you should weigh more because you're taller or, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or people believe, people are disappointed a lot in their results because people will lose 100 pounds, but they still might be overweight because they started at such a high weight and they think that they can get to any weight they want. And that's just not the case. At some point, your body will stop losing weight. So I think that there's just like a misperception. And I think that sometimes it's the celebrities too that add to it, because some of them are so skinny now, it's kind of scary how skinny they are. And so people think, well, I can be as skinny as I want, I don't know, Demi Moore now is like scary looking skinny because of, I think, GLP-1. I don't know for sure, but that's what I think the misperception is like, it's not really for you to get to whatever dream you have for your weight.
Yeah, I think I agree with the part of the celebrities wanting to lose so much weight. And at the same time, people want to imitate the celebrities and want to go extra mile to lose the weight because, of course, that's my celebrity. So thank you very much for that answer. So now looking at GLP-1 space right now, what's one word would you describe GLP-1 up to date? If you had to describe GLP-1 in one word, what would it be?
It's a miracle.
Interesting. That's
it's a miracle.
Okay, so one thing you know about GLP-1 is that you wish you didn't know before. What's that one thing you think you know right now that you wish you knew earlier?
I think I didn't. I've been a dietitian for a long time, but I didn't work as a dietitian. I've been a writer for many years. So I didn't understand how the medication really worked. And I thought, I can just take it, lose the weight, get off the medication and move on with my life. And I didn't realize that it was going to be more of a commitment to figure out how to stay the weight that I wanted to be and that kind of thing. And then I also was so for the first time, I wasn't controlled all the time by food and being hungry and this and that I don't think I focused as much on fueling my body, eating the amount of protein that I needed. I kind of got a little bit wrapped up in, oh my gosh, I don't have to eat anymore. I don't have to just constantly be eating. This is amazing. And so I didn't pay attention that, for some reason, as a dietitian, I forgot that we need food. I just would not eat. And that was a big mistake. That was a big mistake that I made. But it was such a shift from where I had been that I just went, I was like, oh my gosh, this is incredible that am not controlled by all this food all the time.
Okay. That makes sense. So where can people find you if a new person is to come to GLP-1 or to start a conversation with you? Where can they find you?
My channels are all GLP-1 Hub. So I have podcast called
Okay.
GLP-1 Hub and Community Podcast. And then I have a YouTube channel and TikTok and Instagram, all under GLP-1 Hub. And that's where I provide all of the information for the people. Yep.
Okay, thank you very much. We are coming to the end. So managing your social media, like you said you do podcasts, you have a community. How have you been able to manage all of this with your social media?
Well, it was a lot last year. I was doing everything by myself.
Okay.
And luckily my husband started working for me. So now he works for me full time, but it's still a lot. It's a lot to manage. It's a lot to record. It's a lot to come up with, new ideas all the time, make sure the videos are out on time, the podcasts, all of that. So, it's 2 full-time people, and I would love to even hire more people to help to get some things off my plate. But it's a lot to manage. Just got to stay organized.
I think I will call you a superhero, because with your children, you say you went to school, and also managing your community, your hub, that's a lot. I would call you a superhero. That's beautiful. So you said something about we talked about you losing weight, you trying to lose weight at particular points in time in your life, and you couldn't. What's that one advice you give somebody out there watching this right now that is also going through that same phase that you went through?
I think that the first step, if you're wanting to lose weight, is to see if you can speak to a professional.
Okay.
Right. So registered dietitian, that kind of thing, to see if there's maybe something you can do to get on the path. I don't think that medication is the first step.
Okay.
But I will say that most people trying to lose weight is not new. It's not like this is their first time, right? Most people who are overweight have tried a lot of things already. So I do think that the GLP-1 is a great solution, but you also need to keep in mind that you will probably have to stay on the medication to some degree forever. So if you are ready, or you're willing to make that commitment to, stay on it, and the cost can be high, then, it can be a good option. But I think that people think, I'll just, like I did, I'll just lose weight and then I'll get off the medication, and then they're surprised when all of it comes back. It's just like any other diet. If you follow a diet and you stop doing the diet, you gain the weight back. It's the same as the medication works the same. So I think that people need to be prepared. Yes, it will work, but if you don't continue, then your body will take over because it wants to go back to where it was.
Yeah. All right, thank you. So for our last question today, so yesterday was Mother's Day, like we all celebrated around the world. So what's that one advice you're going to give out to every woman watching this right now?
What
Advice you're going to give to a woman listening to this right now?
I think to take care of yourself, take time. I think a lot of women that I know are doing too much, including myself. I just met with a friend from high school last week, and she was talking about how she's a mom, and she's like a high position at this architecture firm, and she's this and she's that, and she can't even breathe, and dealing with and I said, why are we like this? Why are we like this? Like, we need to relax. We want to do all these things, but I wish that we could do that. So take care of yourself, go for a massage, go for a pedicure, take a breath.
Yeah, thank you very much. I believe everyone who's going to be watching this is going to learn a lot of things. Like just like I have learned a lot of things from hearing from you, your story, your challenges, how you solved them, and it's amazing. It's amazing to know that you could actually overcome those challenges. So thank you very much, Anna, for joining us on this podcast. We hope to talk to you very soon again.